5 best tips before you fly your drone.
Rick Aramella here, super pumped up for today's video. Let's jump right into it.
Number 1.
Check airspace to make sure you can fly legally. Now I put this in number 1 because you don't want to get in trouble with the FAA. You don't want to get a fine, a ticket. You also don't want to put planes, helicopters, or anyone at risk. So make sure you check the airspace. Now, where do you check the airspace? Well, I use an app called Aloft. Last year they changed their name from Kitty Hawk to Aloft. So if you don't have it already, grab your tablet device, whatever you use to fly your drone, and download the Aloft app. Now in the app, you'll be able to see all the different airspaces. Now you'll get way more out of this app if you have your Part 107 license, which is your commercial drone license here in the United States. So I recommend, if you haven't done so, take the Part 107 exam, pass that exam, then you get your Part 107 license, and then you can ask for permission so you can fly in restricted areas. And on top of that, it also looks way more professional and is actually legal. If you're gonna make money with your drone, you need your Part 107 license here in the United States. And if you wanna pass that exam on the first attempt, I highly recommend you get my Part 107 video course, which comes with a money-back guarantee. Now, I'm not gonna go deep into that course, but the links are below if you wanna check it out.
Number 2, know the wind speed at different altitudes. The wind changes at different altitudes, so you don't wanna be flying and then all of a sudden you go up to a certain altitude and your drone flies away, or you have a tough time bringing your drone back because now you're going into the wind. So not only the wind speed, but the wind direction is very important. And you also have to look out for wind gusts. So the wind may be 20 miles per hour, but may be gusting to like 27 miles per hour. That means all of a sudden these gusts of wind can come and go up to 27 miles per hour, and that can blow your drone over if it can't handle that wind speed. So make sure you know the wind speed that your drone can handle. Usually it's a little below the maximum speed of your drone. So if your drone can fly up to, let's say, 35 miles per hour, I would only fly in like 25 mile per hour winds or less. That way you play on the safe side. Now, more robust drones can handle wind up to 30, 40, 50 miles per hour. So you have to know your drone and test that out. Now, in order to tell the wind speed, I use an app called UAV Forecast. And this app is great because it tells me not only the wind speed at different altitudes, but also shows me the wind gusts, the wind direction, and other weather conditions like visibility, etc. So I highly recommend you download that app, and I'll put a link below in the description. Number 3, calibrate your compass. Now, I know this seems obvious if you've been flying for a long time, but it's amazing how many accidents and things happen just from not calibrating your compass. So anytime you go to a new location, make sure you calibrate your compass and then take off. Now, if you go out and fly from that location and you land in the same location and put in a new battery, you don't have to calibrate your compass again. You could if you want to. However, you only need to calibrate your compass when you go to a new location. Number 4, turn off your Bluetooth. When you turn your Bluetooth off on the device that you're using to fly, you're gonna get better signal strength and less interference. And as an added tip here, I often fly in airplane mode because it avoids me from getting notifications or phone calls or interruptions while I'm flying. Now, I do recommend the device that you fly with has cellular data, because if you're near a restricted or prohibited area in the device, it will ask you to take full responsibility. So you need the cellular data in order to check those boxes to take that full responsibility. So that's why I recommend you get that. So you'll need Wi-Fi to check those boxes and take off, but at the very least, always turn that Bluetooth off. Number 5, adjust your gimbal speed and smoothness. This is one of the most important settings you can change in your drones app because it'll make the difference between having professional cinematic footage and amateur looking footage. So I'm gonna use the DJI Fly app to show you the gimbal settings that I use.
So we go over here, click on the 3 little dots, and it says safety above. And we go to the next heading, which is control. And the most important thing here is advanced gimbal settings. So this is really probably the most important thing, other than getting our exposure right, is advanced gimbal settings. Now, I already have it on my settings. So what I use is the pitch speed at 7, pitch smoothness at 15, the yaw speed at 20, and the yaw smoothness at 35. So let me explain each one of those. This is a good starting point, but you can change it for what you want. And as we can see right here, it says normal mode. So these are all your settings for if you're flying in normal mode, which I do most of the time. And if you go down here, it says Cine Smooth mode. So these are all your settings if you fly in Cine Smooth mode. So you can change those. If you want it slower or faster for certain things, you can change it in there. And then these are your settings if you're flying in sport mode. Sport mode and Cine Smooth mode, these are the default settings, but really the setting I use the most is normal mode and cine smooth mode. So I can change this to what I like, to my normal settings here, the cine smooth mode. Okay, I'm gonna change it to my settings, my preferences. The pitch speed is how fast the gimbal goes up and down. That's your pitch speed right there. So you can make it faster or slower. Okay, if we go all the way to 100, see how fast it goes? So fast. Manned aircraft detected nearby. Okay, so we should probably lower our drone. You see in the lower right hand corner, you see it's to the right of me. So I'm gonna move it to the left a little bit, but it looks like I should be fine. I'm at 250 feet, we should be good. Thank you AirSense for letting us know that. If we go back here, now that's our pitch speed. So if we go all the way down to 1, you can see it's moving so slow. All right, so I like it on 7. That is my preference, so we'll leave it right there. Now pitch smoothness, if we bring it all the way down, let's bring it down to like 2. It just stops where it is. See, I let my finger off the gimbal and it just stops. Let's just bring it up a little so you can demonstrate it a little better. See how it just stops in place? Now I don't like that. I like it to stop a little more gradually. Now if we go all the way to 30, you see how it stops very gradually. It like kind of keeps going. So I like it kind of in between. So that's why I leave it at 15. So it doesn't stop right away, but it doesn't keep going. Happy medium right there. And then the yaw speed, how fast your drone pans over. So you can see, to me, it's still kind of fast, even at the slowest setting, which is 20. That's why I always use it at 20. If I go up to 90, look how fast it goes. Way too fast. We want our movements to be slow and cinematic. That's gonna look the best for our clients. So we put it on 20. And then the yaw smoothness, that's the same thing. It's not gonna stop right away. So if we put it on 1, you see how it just stops right away? That doesn't look right. It just looks too abrupt, too sudden. We look at 100, it'll just keep going, okay? So it stops too gradually. I like about 35 to 40. I put it at 35. Yeah, it keeps going a little bit, but it doesn't stop right away. So that's why I use the settings that I do. So those are very important settings. Those will dramatically give you better results right off the bat. Leave those settings 7, 15, 20, and 35 for our pitch and yaw speed and smoothness.
All right, so if you enjoyed this video, I made an entire DJI drone course just like this video, explaining everything you need to go from complete beginner with no knowledge whatsoever to flying like a professional. And you'll save a ton of time with this course because it'll take you only a couple weeks, what took me a couple years. Links to that course are in the description below, along with a free DJI drone webinar that gives you some of the lessons and secrets you will learn in the full course. Again, the links are below in the description. Thank you for watching. I'm Brett Garamella, and remember, fly like a pro.